guys, and welcome back to Couch Critics. I'm Lamia.
And I'm Ruby, and today, since the year is ending, we're doing a yearly review of all the movies we reviewed this past year
Mhm.
and just reminiscing over it. We were just checking our YouTube channel, and it's just crazy how
Yeah.
it's been going, and yeah, it's been so much fun. I'm gonna start with a very tough question.
Yeah.
What was your favorite movie this past year?
That we reviewed.
Yeah,
I think that it was All of Us Strangers.
that's a
Yeah.
really good one.
That was the one that I saw twice.
Mhm.
And like ever since we started this podcast, I never have the time to watch any movie more than once.
Yeah.
And like that was the only one that I saw twice. Another one that I loved was, but we didn't review it yet, was Monsters. It's a show,
Yes, we have.
and
Yeah.
yeah, that was one of the best thing that I've seen this year. But when it comes to movies, it's definitely All of Us Strangers. Andrew Scott, Paul
Yeah.
Mescal, they were phenomenal in that movie. It has those indie vibes. The acting is on point. You don't even know where it's going, but it definitely has a plan, and it goes straight to the plan, and the plan is soul crushing.
Yes.
And yeah, I'll forever miss crying at the movie theater during the big reveal. I'm not gonna spoil you guys, but like there is a huge reveal
Was a
at the
very
end.
unexpected reveal.
Yeah,
And I was thinking about it because another movie that really made me cry this year was past no, not We Live in Time.
Live in Time. Yeah,
That really made me cry, but come to think of it, it was a very expected
yeah,
ending. It still was crushing, but
yeah.
you knew where the movie was going. Wherever
Mm,
with All of Us Strangers, we had no idea what was happening. I was so confused.
totally.
Still to this day, I don't know, like if the character played by Paul was, I don't know, like
It
I don't know
feels
what
like
it
a
was.
fever dream in that
Yeah.
scene. I think you're gonna remember the scene that I'm referring to, but that scene in the club with Andrew Scott and Paul
Yes.
was one of the most beautiful scenes that I've
Yeah.
ever seen. And the close up and the camera going very close to them, and then it would spiral, and it's just so beautiful to
Yeah.
watch. What was your favorite?
I really don't know. We watched so many
Yeah.
movies, and sometimes I even forgot great movies that we
Hmm.
watched.
Like
But
from the top of your head.
I think Zendaya's movies about tennis, and I don't even
Challengers.
Challengers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Challengers, I think was a really great movie. I really enjoyed it, and
Mm.
I honestly have been saying I want to watch it again for ever since I watched it for the first time, and I haven't had the time to do so, but I really want to watch it again. I think it was great. The
Mhm.
playlist was amazing. The transitions between the scenes, the colors,
Yeah.
like the whole blue and green, felt like it reminded me of
Call Me by
Halsey's.
Your Name.
Yes, oh my God, yes, Call Me by
Yeah.
Your Name. But it also reminded me of a music video for Halsey called Colors,
Hmm.
and it was just the same vibe, and I just loved it so much. So yeah, also
I absolutely love
yeah,
Challengers as well, and I still listen to their soundtrack till now to study. And whenever I'm at the gym, it just feels like playing tennis at at a rave, and
yeah,
that's how I like. I feel like that's the best way to describe Challengers. It's literally tennis and the rave, and
yeah,
I don't like it's just insane, and it's so cool, it's so sexy, and um it's so perfect. Like everything, every decision is well thought of, and it's definitely the movie that made me become a fan of Luca Guadagnino. Like I've seen everything that he's done before, but this one just showed me how versatile he can be, because I feel like when it comes to Luca, and I realized that when the news came out that he was doing American Psycho, like a lot of people were disappointed because they were like, "Oh, he's not. It's not his genre." But Luca, it's definitely Luca's genre. Like he's trying all kinds of genres. He did horror, thriller, Call Me by Your Name. It's just that he's famous for Call Me by Your Name.
it's crazy how he's. It's like actors who are so diverse. He's
Yeah,
like a diverse director,
yeah,
and I think that's so beautiful. I mean, he gets a chance to tell so many different stories in different ways, and this is so rare because
totally.
he doesn't have a signature. And
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's his signature, just not
Yeah,
knowing where
it's
he's gonna go.
trying different stuff,
Yeah,
and it's good because how would you know like what you like if you're not trying different
yeah.
stuff?
I'd be curious to know what his favorite movie to film was, but I feel like
Yeah.
he wouldn't have a favorite because I feel like it's like having kids and you
Mhm.
cannot pick a favorite. But yeah, also I want to go back to Challengers. Just the whole fashion and the like
Yeah,
style of it, it was great. Just seeing Zendaya go from like 17-year-old teenager to a grown woman, and like her playing all these
yeah.
roles at once. At once, it was really good.
Any movie that can make you like a certain sport
Yeah,
is a great movie because
yeah.
I had no interest in tennis before this movie, but like
Uh-huh.
ever since I still had no interest in tennis, but like I saw a lot of people who started like playing
Yeah.
tennis after watching Challengers.
No, after watching that movie, I kind of wanted to get like a tennis skirt and just go start playing
Yeah,
tennis. It was
yeah.
so great. It's such, and it's such like because it's an outdoor sport.
Mhm.
It's I don't know. It makes me miss summer.
Yeah,
So yeah.
true. What was your least favorite movie to review?
Ooh, I think it was Xmas, the movie last year, the
Oh
Christmas
yeah.
movie. I think that was just I don't know. It was I just didn't have anything to say about it. Although I
Yeah.
love Leighton Meester, but it just the whole movie was
Mhm.
such a cliche and yeah. I think that was it. What about you? Least favorite
I
movie?
totally agree. Xmas was a nightmare to review. I was sick and I couldn't even talk and I had nothing to say.
Right.
So it was very convenient. But other than that, I just didn't enjoy reviewing Argyle and Madame Web. Like any movie that is doing too much but feels empty. Yeah, I did not really enjoy doing these ones, and it's not because I didn't like them. Because, like, for example, I didn't like um Emily in Paris, but I loved doing that review of Emily in Paris. But yeah, those two were just bad. I didn't have anything to say. I didn't like reviewing Deadpool too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I feel like Argyle and Madame Web, they were just back to back, and at that
yeah,
time we were just watching a bunch of movies that didn't make that much sense.
hmm,
That didn't feel like movie. They didn't feel cinematic, you know.
yeah.
So I do understand that.
It was
Yeah,
our rock bottom.
it was our rock bottom. We were just like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Highs and lows.
There was a lot of highs and lows.
Mhm.
Speaking of highs, we were just talking about it, how when we first started doing the podcast, we would like make days out of it and we would
Yeah.
just like it, just film reels behind the scenes and it was such a really good time and I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
This podcast is not just about watching movies. Also, I love that it's helping me watch more movies, but I
Mhm.
feel like it's also about just enjoying the small things, enjoying making dinner, enjoying like going thrift shopping, just a bunch of things.
Yeah,
And it's
trying out new movie theaters.
yes,
Maybe even like trying out a new genre of movies that's
yeah,
totally out of your comfort zone.
yes.
And yeah, what movie was the most surprising to you? Like that you expected yourself not to like, but like it took a different turn.
I think Le Consentement was a
Okay.
big one. This movie, I just didn't know where it was going, and I didn't know how it was going to be filmed. But getting out of it and understanding that it was about this true story about someone, I even remember like first few minutes of watching the movie, I
Mhm.
just hated it because it didn't make sense why someone would want to make a film like that, but understanding that it was about someone's actual life and it was
Mhm.
the director's way of just breaking free out of this whole past, it just made me, it was really striking to me. So, yeah. What about you?
Le Consentement was definitely a hard watch.
Mm-hmm.
It was very touchy to just like talk about it, to try
Yeah.
to like discuss those themes. But if I had to choose, I would say maybe Furiosa. I really did not expect myself to like that movie, but
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought that it was so much fun to watch, and it definitely deserves more hype than what it got. I also really liked Vanya. I didn't know
Yes.
if I would like it because it's like a piece of a
Theater.
theatrical piece,
Yeah.
and it was filmed and it was shown in theaters, and so it stars Andrew Scott, and we love Andrew Scott.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so fun to watch, and I loved the format. I loved the simplicity of it, and that
Yeah.
yeah, that was surprising.
Was there a movie that you were really looking forward to but ended up disappointing you this past year?
Um, Maybe Wicked.
Okay.
Wicked was like when I first watched it, I was really happy about the turn, like the entire turn of it. Oh, I was really happy with how it turned out, but the more I think about it, the more I feel like it was a little bit underwhelming, and I feel like it just took too much time to make, and it's just a lot of things happening at once. But yeah, other than that, I want to say Saltburn, but I liked not liking Saltburn. Like it's challenging, I'm conflicted. Like
Yeah.
I did not like it when I watched it, but the more as the time passes, I just think of it more and I appreciate it more. Like it's just a fun movie and a very aesthetically pleasing movie to watch, and the playlist is good, and the actors are good, and everyone is British, and yeah,
Everyone is British.
it helps.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. Hold on, let me think about it. Maybe I would say the idea of you was, I don't know. I thought it,
Mhm.
because it was Anne Hathaway and I loved her as an actress, I thought it was going
Yeah.
to be more of a meaningful movie. I did like the movie. I don't think it was bad, terrible movie, but it just, I don't know. I felt like it was very surfacic as a plot. It
Mhm.
wasn't that deep. It wasn't that much of like a meaningful movie, and I'm used to Anne to making like really great meaningful movies. So I think that's maybe it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you could recommend one movie to someone, one of like the ones that we've watched, which one
Um,
would it be?
wow, that's a really good question. I mean, I want to go back to the classics and say La La Land
Mhm.
because it's my favorite, but I feel like I would prefer recommending a movie that was made this year. I would recommend the Substance.
Yeah.
Actually, I would recommend this movie for everybody. I
I
think it
feel
was,
like it's a movie that everyone likes.
yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to be disappointed
yeah, and even
by the
for people,
substance.
yes, and even for people who don't like horror, I hate horror,
Mm.
and yet I enjoyed it so much. And again, I think it's really not fair to categorize this movie as horror because so many people will just not watch it just because they
Mm.
don't like horror, but it wasn't that scary. And on the contrary, it was genius.
Yeah.
So, The Substance, yes. What about you?
Maybe Monkey Man.
Okay,
I
yeah,
loved Dave Patel's movie Monkey Man, and I feel like people forgot about it like pretty quickly.
yeah,
But it's such a good movie. Um, we also reviewed Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is my go-to movie when I want to recommend anything to anyone because I feel like it's the same as The Substance. Like
yeah.
it's just it's a horror movie, but it's
It's,
cool, it's fun, and it has a plot twist, and it keeps you on your edge, and you're not
yeah,
getting bored. You don't really have to follow um a very intense story. You just have to like follow what the characters are doing, and the acting is great, and
yeah.
yeah, everyone is always shocked by the reveal. It works every time.
Oh my God, I remember like Clemia sat me down next to her and she was like, "We're watching this horror movie," and I was gonna be so terrified, but the
Mhm.
plot twist just took me to, I don't know, it
Yeah.
was hilarious. I think that's the beauty about horror movies like The
Mhm.
Substance and Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is that they're supposed to be scary, but at the end of the movie, you just, I don't know, you, it's not something that keeps you awake. Because for me, like, terrifying horror movies is movies that could happen, things that could happen
Yeah.
that keep me up at night. But with similar movies, it's just, you know, there's no threat. Like
Yeah,
if,
and like for Bodies, 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 for example, it could definitely happen. The reveal could definitely happen. It just depends on how dumb you are. And like maybe not dumb, but how unlucky you are
yeah,
that
exactly.
day. So maybe if you're having a bad week, don't watch it. But like when things start to go up, you can watch Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Yeah,
And I also feel like when it comes to horror movies, you need a solid
plot.
twist.
Yeah,
Like your killer, or like the person that you're looking for in that movie, whether it's a victim or a killer, like needs to be someone that people don't really suspect.
yeah. Which brings me to Trap, which was another. This one
Let
was like a
down.
thriller, but
Hmm.
it was also like a bit of a horror. That was enjoyable to watch, but if you come to think of it, it was, I don't know, it could
It
have been
was, yeah.
written so many different ways because it was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I thought that it was a total letdown. I expected it to be really good, but it
Yeah,
just it was bad. It was just
yeah,
bad. Like especially like the whole thing when the singer found out that like the guy was the killer. She didn't even look scared, and it was
come
very
to think of
obvious.
it, even the reveal of the guy to the singer was, I don't know, I thought that he would try to hide it,
Hmm.
but he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Um, what movie wouldn't you recommend to anyone? Like a movie that came out this year,
I want to
a
say
popular movie.
I want to say Saltburn because I don't know that like I would be very careful who I recommend this movie for.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a weird movie and like it's
Is
not like you
it?
can recommend it to family members or
Oh
anything.
no, you can't. But like to friends, you can. You
Maybe friends,
definitely
yeah.
can.
A movie I wouldn't recommend to anyone. Again, I don't know.
I
What
think
about you?
it's maybe the Blake Lively movie.
Ah, yeah.
That was also let down. Like it was very weird. Like the wardrobe was all over the place. The scenes, the drama behind the scenes, the everything was very bad.
True. I mean, especially the
Mm.
everything that happened behind the scenes, I felt like it was so uncalled for.
Yeah.
Um, what were movies that had really bad press this year? And I feel like there
What?
was so many movies that had really bad
Yeah.
press this year. I mean, there was the Blake Lively movie,
It
Lily Who.
ends with
It
us.
ends with us. What else? I mean, Wicked right now. I've
Deadpool was caught up in the drama
yes
of It
too.
Ends With Us.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of movies had
Yeah.
bad press this past year.
Also, Wicked is like, but like
I've
I
been
feel like
watching
Wicked
it.
is turning more into a meme.
Yeah.
Like people aren't really mad. They're just like, I don't know. Like I think Ariana Grande and Cynthia are like on a different level of fame, and they kind of like lost touch of how to act socially. That was mean, but like it's the truth. I mean,
I love it.
and yeah, but no hate towards them. They
No,
were
honestly, I
nice in their
mean,
respective
good
roles.
for them for embracing their feelings. It's just, it's a lot. It's just mainly when people combine all of the scenes of them crying together. Maybe in an interview they just cried for
It's
like
just the
1 minute.
context. Like you
Yeah,
know, like I feel like there are a few interviews that are appropriate for
yeah,
these kind of like
emotional.
behaviors,
Yeah,
emotional outbursts. But like when you're doing a normal tour press and like you have to answer like some fiery questions about your movies and you have to cry every 2 minutes and you guys are holding hands and the interviewers looked scared. It's just kind of weird.
I wonder if they're sleep deprived.
Maybe.
Another movie that was a bit disappointing, not for me, but for everybody else apparently, is
Mm.
The Joker. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We
and
love the Joker.
I loved it, but everybody said I loved the second one because I haven't watched the first one, so I didn't have
I
any
watched the
comparison.
first one
Yeah.
and I still liked the second one. I
Mm-hmm.
could see their point. It's like a different genre from the first
Mm-hmm.
one, and the first one was so amazing. But like if you're just like open up your mind and you're like, okay, like I'm open to a new genre, and I feel like people who didn't like it, they just wanted the director to stick to what he was doing, which
Yeah.
is fair, but like that wasn't the director's decision, and
Yeah.
it's also I liked the result also for
Because
this
I
one.
mean, if you want, like, you could always rewatch the first one if you really liked it. But
Yeah,
what about trying something new and like
yeah,
experimenting?
totally.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Um,
What was your favorite show
my favorite show this past,
that we reviewed? Because we
um,
didn't review anything that came out this year, but like we did
true.
review a few shows.
Normal People.
Yeah,
And I have you to thank for that. I think it's such a beautiful
yeah.
and nice comfort show
Mm.
again. I also like Lily in Paris, but that's like a guilty pleasure of mine, so it's something else. What about you?
Normal People for sure. It has a soft spot in my heart. Also, Gossip Girl. I
Yeah,
love Gossip Girl, but if I had to choose between the two, I'd say Gossip Girl, but like I also really love Normal People, so
I also love Gossip Girl, so it's yeah, I feel like
yeah.
it's a classic.
Hmm.
But Gossip Girl is really resurfacing right now. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people are talking about it again, and the first one, not the remake. And I just love it. I just love seeing the
Yeah.
memes of just random scenes from like people posting Chuck Bass doing random things at random times. And I used to think he was so cute, but seeing it isolated,
Yeah.
like just people reacting to how he acts isolated, it's just so funny. But yeah, Gossip Girl, always a
Mhm.
classic. Um, yeah. I think that
I
sums it
think
up
that sums it up.
for our yearly review. We're
Yeah.
looking forward for next year's movies.
Hmm.
And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Also, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Yes, 2025 better be a good year.
Yes.